Hey, I often feel sorry for people that don't get to go to AA meetings. Okay. AA meetings got to be one of the best self-help therapy, make your life a better way possible. Why is that? Well, what happens is somebody brings up a topic like one day at a time, and then you get 30 different opinions on it from 30 separate people, and they don't have a discussion. They basically, there's no crosstalk. And that means that you're not really influenced by anybody else to force to reply. So the timid part disappears, okay? Because a lot of people cannot deal with any kind of stress, especially a recovering alcoholic. They are the weakest people on the planet. I mean, somebody sober for 2 days, they're just one step away from getting drunk, right? Put this up a little higher. Okay, but nobody in the planet admits that they are mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually weak. Okay, but AA meetings are really good at this, but one day at a time is absolutely, I don't know, it's got to be there's probably 10 or 15 sayings that are just constantly said and constantly ignored. Okay, and people say them all the time and they'll say one day at a time and then they go, I need to go do this. And I go, hey guy, that's the opposite of one day at a time. But I'm going to talk about 5 phrases that drive me absolutely crazy when people say it. Okay, one day at a time, what does it mean? Why do you say it? What happens is, emotionally, anybody can handle anything. You can handle absolutely any kind of stress if you chunk it down to something that is manageable. Okay, and of course, the first step of AA is we admitted our life we admitted we were powerless over alcohol and our lives had become unmanageable. But what does that mean? We're unmanageable. Our lives are unmanageable. And 99% of the people in AA will not accept that their lives are unmanageable, and they want to control everything. And all you can really manage is some section of time. Time. I love the Latino world. Time means nothing to people. Most countries, time means nothing. When they say they're going to do something, it means absolutely nothing. And when an American says he's going to do something, it means nothing. When a German says something, well, you better be careful, okay? Because they got a very good correlation between what they say and what they do. But you got to be careful, one day at a time. It's creating. The goal is to create a world that you can emotionally handle. So can you handle not eating for the next hour? Can you emotionally go without eating for the next hour? And then in an hour, can you start over and do it again? So can you emotionally do one sit-up? I'm sitting in the gym every day watching these trainers set up people for failure. And I'm going, why do you do this? This girl can't do 25 burpees. Burpees got to be one of the most strenuous things you could ever do. Burpee is when you jump out, you lunge, you jump up, and then you do it. I mean, they are as close as you can get to getting all 600 muscles going. And I sit there and I want to tell this girl the other day, I was going, just do 3. And I wanted to scream at her, but the trainer, I told her to do 30 or something like that. So she does 2, then she stopped. And all she did is got herself totally depressed instead of doing one at a time. I'm doing a thing right now. I'm trying to find 10 exercises on my knee that I can only do 1 of. I mean, it's like I'm always laughing because people always want to chin-ups and push-ups. I said, I don't do push-ups because I can't do 1. Well, I can do 1 push-up. Okay, but when you start out working out, you ought to find out, if you really want to know what you're weak at, is find the exercises you can only do 1 of. But on knee exercises, there's 1 thing at a time. Can I handle doing 1? Okay, and if you get really good at handling 1, then you can get really good at handling 2. So one day at a time is about emotionally chunking it down, drilling down. Man, these motorcycles, can you handle one at a time? One day at a time. But people, instead of just accepting the way the world is, what they want to do is they want to broad scale it, and they want to think of the whole world. The day's overwhelming. And I go, who gives a crap about the day? All you got to deal with is the next minute. 1 minute at a time. 10 minutes at a time. 1 hour at a time. 1 day at a time. And then what do they say? They say these comments. But I want to talk about creating a world you can handle. And I don't know what's wrong with the world. They've been trained by school that everything is a job. And absolutely, they get nothing done because everything they do is fail. Absolutely everything that they plan on doing, they don't complete. That's why one of the greatest things about traveling the world is 99.99, probably 1 in 1,000 don't make it to their destination. So it's the first time in their life that they actually say they're going to go do something and they do it. Now, I chunk things down. When I get on a bus, I say I'm going in like an hour, okay? I don't go, I'm going to go on a 24-hour trip. Only when I buy a plane ticket do I do that. People ask me, how do I handle a 30-hour plane trip? And I go, I have no choice. Okay, but 5 phrases that drive me crazy when somebody's talking about what they do is they self-sabotage their thinking because they say 1 day at a time. They say they can handle something, but they don't handle something. If you really can handle something, you don't talk about it, you just handle it. Okay, but anyone can handle 1 day at a time. You can handle 10 minutes at a time. Okay, so these are the 5 phrases that are setting yourself up to be depressed. Okay, why are people depressed? It's always a lack of correlation between what they say and what they do. It's always the same. You let yourself down. You continually say things that, this idea of aiming for the stars and landing it. The people that accomplish something in life say what they're going to do and they get a completion high all day long. They only say what they're going to do. Like I finally accepted that in my life. Wow, it must be time for school or something. What time is it? Oh, it's 7 o'clock. Everybody's rushing to work in the Latino world so they can be 10 minutes late. Nobody arrives on time in the Latino world. You know how you know when your girlfriend arrives 30 minutes late in the Latino world, she's on time. I'm always laughing because they have absolutely no correlation between what they say and what they do. All these restaurants are opening up at 7 o'clock and they don't open up. It's hilarious. But this is the way of the world. Say what you're going to do and don't do it. And that's why you're not trusted. Because you don't say what you do and you don't do it. But if you want to be correlation, so all this 7 o'clock right here, and all these guys that are going by really fast are already late. So does the boss fire them? No! The boss arrives late too because he or she is not a good example. But these are the 5 phrases that drive me crazy with 1 day at a time. I want you to be happy, and I want you to have a direct correlation between what you say and what you do. So if you're going to go to work and you want to arrive late all the time, you're basically a whinging person that cannot say what they're going to do. But the first phrase is, I'm going to. The minute you say that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, you basically are setting yourself up to be depressed unless you're going to do it in the next hour. Okay? If you're not going to do it in the next hour, you're just saying, well, I've got to buy something and I want to do this, whatever. You can talk about these things, but you don't say I'm going to do it unless you're going to go do it in the next hour. Okay? because that's depression. You're setting up all these things that are going to happen in your life that are not going to happen, and but you can talk about them. You can make a list of things to do, a to-do list. But that's the difference in saying this is a to-do list and I'm going to go do it. There's a different phrase there, right? I'm going is making a commitment, and you're making a commitment only to yourself that you're going to fail. So don't say that. Just say, this is my to-do list. But I have a to-do list every day. Hola, senorita. I make a to-do. I have like a to-do list that I put on a piece of paper that I have 3 things, and I accomplish them things. I don't always do it every day because I don't have that many things to do, really. But when I really want to accomplish something, I start making a three things on a card, and I just carry it in my thing. I look at it, and I accomplish those 3 things. Number 2, I need to. Okay, that's a commitment again. You're going to depress yourself. How many things do you actually need to do in a day? Come on. There are so few things that you actually need to do that you don't even need to put them on a list. If you actually need to do them, you're going to get them done. The things you want to do is what you're talking about. So I want to do something is okay to say, but I need to do something that is not. So everybody gets confused between their needs and their wants. And I go, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. And I'm going, you're driving me freaking crazy. You're making a bunch of needs out of something that are just wants. I don't need to do anything today because I'm rich. I'm wealthy. I'm the wealthiest man on the planet. Why am I the wealthiest man on the planet? Because I do what I want to do instead of what I need to do. I don't put any needs on myself, and I don't get depressed. You got too many needs, and you really only have a couple needs in a day, and you have a lot of wants. But try to just work on your wants and be proactive, and realize that if you separate life into needs and wants, you really don't have that many needs, okay? 3, I'm busy. This is the actual pandemic on the planet that United States people, they're so freaking stupid. They say I'm busy. And I go, are you so stupid that you're answering the phone when you're busy? If you're actually busy, then you don't answer the phone. Don't depress me by telling me you're busy. You're basically insulting me, saying, I'm taking your call, I'm busy. Why are you telling me you're busy? Are you so disorganized that you are answering the phone when you're too busy to answer the phone? Are you smart enough? I always tell people on calling me up, I said, call me anytime you want. I put my phone number all over the place. I got it on my shirt. Where's it at? Right there. It's on my shirt. Why? Because if I'm busy and I can't answer the phone, I'm not going to answer the phone. It amazes me why people are so abusive when they tell everybody, I'm busy. I said, why are you insulting me? Don't answer the freaking phone if you're busy. Separate. Don't say these words. If you're really busy, section off the time, shut off the phone, do whatever. But most of the time what you're saying is, I'm emotionally weak. And if you're going to tell me I'm emotionally weak, I'm way too busy, I have too many things on my plate, you're basically telling me you're not doing things one day at a time. Basically, you're not trying to handle one situation at a time. All these people going by are late. They are not doing what they are required as a job. In my opinion, when I had a business, I had one rule. You arrive on time. If you don't arrive on time, I fire you. And if you make that rule in a business, you find out that the people that arrive 10 minutes early are very good workers. The ones that arrive just in time should be fired. All these people, in my opinion, should be fired. Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm busy. Don't say this because you're insulting the world. You're insulting yourself because what you're saying is I'm weak. Never say, or the 14th step is never say or do anything that would make you or other people feel weak. Don't make yourself feel weak. Number 4, I can't. Of course you can do anything. Absolutely anything is possible if you section it down into 1 minute bites. How do you make a car? I was in a plane flying into Rurenbach, and somebody on the plane, it was like a 12-seater plane, and it was kind of scary because they landed and the runway was so short. And hey, kind of a cute little one. Noisy. I thought $12 million for this thing, and I said to myself, man, $12 million, I can make this airplane. How do you make it? You make it one part at a time. You don't make it in whole. Like I want to do a 35 house mini luxury home edition for retired people. And how would I do it? I do it one thing at a time. Amigo. Booyah. Por favor. They do it on purpose. I know they do. They all try to drive me crazy just by they don't have situational awareness. Empathy is giving people their space. Hey, welcome to the real world. I can't. Number 4 is I can't. Of course you can do anything. Absolutely, the dumbest person can learn anything if they try to do it. People say, I can't learn a language. And I go, of course you can't. You told me you can't. We can do anything if we divide it up into 1 day at a time, 1 minute at a time, one thing at a time. So all you got to do is start making a list of all the little things you got to do. You don't accomplish, you can accomplish anything if you section it, drill down into little pieces. And you got to be aggressive enough to control your time. Like I'm obviously alpha male because I told the guy to be quiet. Man, you just parked your vehicle, and I guess he was picking up his son, and I do it. But you actually parked in the middle of the road sideways. Might as well just sit there and be stupid, saying, "Oh, let's hit me. Hola, amigo. ¿Cómo estás?" Okay, we can be the king of our world. We can dominate our world if we section things off into 1 minute at a time, one thing at a time, 1 day at a time, one activity at a time. Everything gets sectioned into little pieces. Chunk it down. I like the phrase chunking it down because it makes it into little small chunks. Like I can divide anything into the pieces that it. Like I got a database on this tiny home that's got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of things to do. And then I sectioned it, and then after a while it starts making it all starts to make sense because a natural pattern emerges. Like, how do you write a book? 1 page at a time. Bill Mathias, a pole vaulter that was one of my heroes when I was a kid, he was on the Wheaties box. He said, anybody can be the best of things. How do you become one of the best readers at the world in the planet? You read 1 book a month. You read. Anybody that runs 1 time around the block is in the top 5% of people exercising. How do you become one of the best of anything? You become, all you got to do is do 1. But when you say what you're going to do and you do it. So when I go at the first rule of going to a gym is you show up. I got a guy who really laughed at me. I was in Angola, Indiana, and I went to the gym, and I went there, and I showed up, and I was there 5 minutes, and I left. He goes, why are you leaving? I said, first goal of coming to the gym is to show up. After that, but if you show up at the gym, you eventually get good at doing something. But I only show up at the gym. Like today, I'm actually showing up at the gym later because there's not enough people at 6 o'clock in the morning to make it entertaining. I only show up at the gym when it's fun. So I'm going to try to show up today at the gym at 7:30, 8 o'clock, because maybe there's more women. And if there's more women, I'm more entertained and I'm more motivated because I'm going to hang around longer because the scenery's better. Okay, but I can't. I can't is said because you have too big a chunk and you're depressing yourself. Number 8. My day is crazy. People say these absolutely loser comments. My day is crazy. I'm weak. I'm feeling sad. I'm sick. I'm not very smart. I hate when somebody says that. If you say I can't do this, I'm not, whatever you say, I sit there and I always go, somebody says my day is crazy, or they say I'm sick, or I'm lonely, or I'm whatever, or I'm lazy. You say I'm lazy, or I'm whatever. Yeah, I'm definitely lazy. I like to say that. Bill Gates says this. He says, talk to the person that knows that they're lazy, because they're going to find the fastest, most effective way to do something. I'm definitely lazy because I'm going to spend my whole time doing something the fastest way. But if you tell me I'm a loser, then I go, yep, you're right. You're a freaking loser. Why? I agree with you. You're a loser. Get out of my world. If you're going to tell me you're stupid, I'm going to say, yeah, get out of my world. I don't want stupid people in my world. And I just agree with them. Why? Because why are you telling this? You're a victim. I'm a abused child. My wife abused me. I'll never forget. I was in Lake Atalan, and these 5 guys are all sitting and talking about their wives abusing them, taking all their money. And I go, guys, this is against the Macho Creed. You don't sit around in the world and tell people how you got abused by your wife. You're a loser. Stop being a loser. People say, women always treat me this way. And I go, why are you telling me that? Because you're basically making an excuse for it to happen. Don't say things that define who you are as a weak person. That's why I call it the 14th step. Never say or do anything that would make you or other people feel weak. Don't define yourself as stupid, weak. I almost had to beat up this guy, Jerry, because I said, if you call me shit for brains one more time, I'm going to beat the fuck out of you. I said, you do not call me shit for brains. And but he was an abusive person. He thought of it as a term of endearment or something. I don't allow you to say that to me. I don't listen to those kind of comments. I don't hear it. When somebody starts talking about all these things they're going to do, I say one day at a time, why are we having this conversation? Be part of the solution. Don't be part of the problem. Don't sit around and talk for an hour about all the things you're going to do, because all you're doing is going to depress yourself when you don't do it. Chunk it down to one thing at a time and we can discuss it. Okay. The word I'll try, or somebody saying that I don't do this anymore when they're always doing it all the time. I'll try. Don't say I'll try, just say I'm going to go do this and go do it in the next hour. So if you're going to use the phrase I'm going to do something, that means you're going to do it in the next 5 minutes, 10 minutes, next hour, today. I'm not talking about tomorrow doesn't exist. It's a time that does not exist in the world. Today is all that matters. Yesterday is people that talk about yesterday, people that talk about the future are pissing all over today. People that talk about yesterday, people that talk about the future are pissing all over today. Okay, one day at a time, guys. That means keep it simple. Get it down to something that you can manage emotionally. One thing at a time, one place at a time, one thing. So anything you're doing, the only thing that matters in life is what you're doing in the next 20 minutes. And I'm going to go to the gym, and I'm going to sit there and show up. Once I show up, that's all I got to do at the gym. The goal of going to the gym is to show up every day. After you get really good at showing up every day for 6 months, then maybe think about doing something. But if you show up, guess what happens? You inadvertently do something. So my first goal of going to the gym is to show up every day and make it a routine and a habit. Once you got a habit, but the people that show up at the gym on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays don't show up at the gym Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays again. They are the ones that fail. The ones that show up every single day as a routine, as a habit, work out every day. But if you're going to do an exercise, you start it and you finish it. So if you can only do one, you do one. Don't try to do 8 when you can only do one. You only do what you can do, one thing at a time. Life is really simple if you chunk it down. I'm here and you're not. Why not? Why am I here and you're not? Because you're watching the videos and you're not chunking it down to something that you can manage. Can you just manage to get in your car and drive to a hotel? Just drive to another city and get a hotel. That is an accomplishment. Proactive. Reservations. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. I've been in 114 countries and I've done this for 26 years. And I do it just 1 hour at a time, 1 day at a time, 1 minute at a time. I change locations. I stay until I'm bored, and then I go to the next thing. Life is good, guys, if you emotionally handle things one thing at a time, 1 day at a time, one thought at a time.